welcome back to my channel. For this video, like you guys see in my title, I'm going to be talking about how does stress affect someone with muscular dystrophy. We all deal with stress and stuff, but I thought I found this article talking about. The article's name is called Change, Stress, and Do Change, and it's from supposedly from a podcast and stuff. So I'm gonna read a little bit about what it says about stress and stuff. The thing I like about this article is how it breaks it up into parts. First part it's called change, stress, and do change. To begin, I like to think of grief as a normal process in life. No matter what stage of life you are in, whatever struggle you're going to experience grief. Grief is a normal reaction to some type of loss or change, whether it is as big as the loss of a life or some small as just a change in routine. Change, stress, and grief accompany all our thoughts throughout our lives, especially those in the change family. There's always change when you have muscular dystrophy. Like, for example, you go from one day walking to the next using a wheelchair for the rest of your life, or you go from not taking medication to taking more than one medication a day and stuff like that. So, now, the next part of the article is called Change. With that in mind, when you're talking about any kind of terminal illness or life-altering illness, you're going to have extreme levels of stress, an extreme level of loss, not only loss by death, but also loss through changes that happen in your life, mobility change, changing the dynamic family, changing the routine and structure. The list really can go on and on, like I mentioned earlier. We finally talk about these changes and losses when we have the opportunity to work through them together. And when we come together to normalize grief, to normalize loss, and to talk about it, it finally opens up avenues to be able to get through that grief. It's a pathway forward that our change community needs deeply. Next part of the article is called stress. So let's talk about stress. Stress, along with grief, is a natural reaction to any kind of change. To anytime you have two people involved in a relationship, you're going to have stress. You're going to have conflict. You're going to have disagreements. Now, whenever you're thinking about the change in family dynamics, there are necessary a lot of changes that will happen. Will be start with sibling, parents, with the individual, with the chain. Upon on top of those variety of stressors, there's also a lot of different degrees of stressor. When stress level rise in the family unit, you're simply going to have a natural reaction of conflict. Most of us know the stress from fight, flight, and freeze. I've recently been reading up on two more that they've been added. Flop, which is just like flopping and giving up, and fun, which is trying to please people. So those are two more stress responses that are very common for it to go unnoticed. There will be argument in the chain family. There will be stress in the chain family. Your relation are going to start with tension created simply by individual natural stress response. For example, if you're a flight person, you're trying to get away or withdraw that alone, you can cause stress in relationship. Maybe your partner, sibling, or parent want to talk about the stress instead of fleeing. So there are going to be small struggle and conflict there too for both parties. When the conflict happens and when people deal with it differently, it's very hard. It's important to learn about these stress response, learn what your response are, learn what your loved ones stress response knowledge can help you with those relationships, how to approach the conflict when it happens, how to cope with it as well. Now the next part of the article is called managing change and stress. There are so many things that we can do to manage that change in stress. Talk about it. First of all, I think about it. It's priority because if we can't talk about we're not going to be able to work through it, normalize it. We must normalize that we are experiencing stress and grief in our life. We must normalize that we're expecting loss in our own ways and that everyone's experience is different. We can normalize that these feelings are highly individual that we can get to the next point. understanding it, we need to understand change, stress, and grief and what they truly are. A lot of people have the misconception that grief is just about death, but it's not. It's about everyday little situations that we experience. Experience changes in behavior situation. I mean, I always thought grief was used for death, like it says in the article. So once we understand the basic of change, stress, and grief, then we can get to the point where we can actually start doing something about it and take action. I statement some of the things that we could do. Have conversation with and talk with friends about your change, stress, and your grief. Talk about your feelings about these strategy and call I messages that encourage you to use. For example, I'm feeling this way, feeling angry, I'm feeling stressed, I'm feeling confused. It's just a simple I message. I feel blank because blank, or I feel blank when I feel blank. It's just simple so bars and walls don't go up. Sometimes when you're trying to talk about something, it can feel like we're almost attacking the other person. Grief can be one of those things that people put a wall up pretty quickly. About also being fractal and focusing on things can really help. Be the moment. I know that is probably kind of one of those things bad things bad things that people think about, but it's really helpful. When we think about the past, we can't control anything there, right? We can go back, we can change it, and often these past moves start setting in when we think about the future. They often cause worry and anxiety. So be mindful, be in the moment that we have right now, enjoy those moments that we do have because those moments are precious. No one truly knows when we're going to have be here anymore. So think about it. Think about that. Just be in the moment. Enjoy life in the moment. That's where you find true happiness. Honestly, I have always basically enjoyed the moment, despite having muscular dystrophy. So I understand where that's coming from. Obviously, we can be mindful all the time, right? But definitely try to enhance that, increase that much as we can. Take care of your body. Try to be physically healthy. Try to be as active as possible. Be with nature. Just being outside in the sun, getting the vitamin D can help our mental states. I usually do that. Go outside for a little bit when it's not that hot. There's so much that's connected with our brain and our body that we it's really important to take care of that as much as we can. Yes, mental health is very important, you guys. Especially when you have a disability like muscular dystrophy. If you don't have your mental health in check, it can really cause a lot of problems. You already have your disability, then you add mental health to it. It just, not that good having both of them, at the same time. So I encourage you to start talking and normally change stress and grief. Take care of yourself. Be mindful. Remember that having connection and feeling like you belong is really important when we talk about change, stress, and grief, especially the kind that the change family face. Exactly, it's not an easy task having a family member with muscular dystrophy, especially if you take care of them and stuff and really get involved with your family member that has muscular dystrophy, your friend, your neighbor, your relative, whatever. So I really like this article. I mean, it explained things that I really never thought when I was younger, but I thought it was an interesting article, because it talked about a little bit about stress, change. I feel those things are two important things that happen when you have muscular dystrophy. There's times that you might feel stressed for whatever reason. And change, there's a lot of changes when you have muscular dystrophy since it's a progressive disease, you know. One, like I mentioned, like I put an example, one day you be walking, the other day you'll be using a wheelchair, the next time you're gonna be maybe not being able to feed yourself or stuff like that. So just thought it was a nice video to talk about a little bit about stress and stuff. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Until
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride.